If your guitar doesn't sound quite right, it's probably not your playing. It's probably your tuning. Yeesh. Let's fix that in the next 5 minutes. If you're playing by yourself, you may be playing at home, and you just want a very inexpensive way to get your guitar in tune, one of the best ways to do that is with an app by a company called Boss. Boss is the largest pedal manufacturer for guitar pedals in the world. Their pedals are available worldwide, and they make one of the most popular tuners ever in pedal form. But they created an app for your phone that uses the built-in microphone in your phone to be able to get your guitar in tune. Now, a drawback to this is if you're in the middle of a loud concert hall or maybe a loud restaurant, or maybe you've gotten out of tune in the middle of playing live and you need to tune, this microphone in your phone, it's going to pick up everything. And so you're going to have a difficult time getting in tune in a loud environment. However, at home, and you're just by yourself and you're just wanting to tune your guitar so you can maybe practice or maybe take a lesson, this is a great method to tune. It's inexpensive. It's very straightforward. So let's get into this one. So looking here at the app, we're going to play the bottom string. Now, always play the string before you start tightening the tuning key. You don't want to tighten the tuning key without hitting the string, because you want to be able to listen to the note that the string is making, because if you tighten it too much, the string's only going to take so much and it's going to break. So play the string first and then start tightening. Again, we're looking for an E note for this bottom string. So you can see the E pops up there on the screen. And just tighten it until the lights on the top go to the center green. Once that happens, you're in tune. Let's go to the second string, which is a B. We're pretty close on that one. All right, go to string 3, which is a G. Like we're right on that one. Let's go to 4, which is a D. Fifth string is an A. And top string, sixth string is an E. And now we're in tune. Much better. Now, option number 2 for getting in tune is probably the one that I would recommend for most people if you're willing to spend a little bit of money on a new tuner. And that's one of these clip-on tuners. These are great. They clip on the headstock of your instrument, and instead of using a microphone or, as we'll see here in a little bit, the built-in pickup in a guitar, which your guitar may not have, these use the vibration that's caused in the guitar itself. So the vibrations, which you may not even feel, but the vibrations go through the neck and through the headstock. And these clip on the headstock and they sense that vibration. They will help you get in tune based on the vibrations going through the neck. Now, this is a great option, number 1, because you can do it in very noisy environments. So you can be playing in mid-concert. If you notice that something doesn't sound right, put on a clip-on tuner, get it in tune, and you can do that with drums and other loud instruments going on at the same time. So it's a great method to tune regardless of the environment you're in. They're relatively inexpensive. While these may cost $20, maybe $40, somewhere in that range, a lot of other tuners, like the pedal tuners I'll show you in just a bit, They can be upwards of 100, 150, and even higher for those. So relatively speaking, a clip-on tuner is a very cost-effective, pretty accurate, and an easy to understand way to get in tune. So let me demonstrate how this works on a few strings on this guitar. Now, the third method that I want to show you to get your guitar perfectly in tune in under 5 minutes is a pedal tuner. Now, generally, these are going to be used by electric or acoustic guitarists who have pedals that give their guitar certain effects. That could be reverb, delay, compression, that could be overdrive or distortion, chorus, flangers, phasers, a ton of different options for different sounds for your guitar. Usually that's not done as widely on an acoustic guitar as it is on an electric guitar. But a lot of players who have electric guitar pedals will add a tuner pedal that has a couple of advantages. Number one, there's nothing to take on and off your headstock. Number two, it utilizes the pickups that are already in your guitar to amplify your guitar. So you plug into a tuner pedal just like you would plug into a guitar amplifier. And again, like the headstock tuner, this can be done in extremely noisy environments because it's taking the sound of your string through the pickup and it goes straight into the tuner without the use of a microphone. So you can do this in very noisy environments. Also, tuner pedals have the option of muting your instrument. So if you hear something a little off, all you have to do is turn on your tuner. It will mute the sound that's going through the house sound system or your amplifier, let you get in tune, and as soon as you're in tune, turn that back off, your sound comes back on. It's a very efficient and a very handy thing to go ahead and mute that because you don't want to be tuning where everybody can hear you during the middle of a song. Now, this tuner that I'm going to show you is digital, but it's a little different. This is called a strobe tuner. And a strobe tuner, instead of having those lights that just go toward the center and let you know when you're in tune, it has lights that go in circles. And when you're out of tune, those lights go in circles. And when you get in tune, those lights stop moving and you know you're in tune. And you may say, well, isn't that a little more difficult? And it can be, but strobe tuning is extremely accurate. It's an extremely precise way to get in tune. The other digital tuners will get you close enough that most will never know that you might be a few cents off. But a strobe tuner is dead on accurate most of the time. So let's get into option number 3 in a pedal strobe tuner. Pretty good there. And you see that going in circle. When it stops moving in a circle, we're in tune. Thought we're pretty good there. We should be in tune. Much better. Now I have a couple more options. The next option is going to be free. This is just tuning with the last string. So let's say that our E string, our bottom E string, we're pretty happy with that tuning. We can tune the second string to the first string by chording the second string on the 5th fret. And you hear, when you chord that 5th fret second string, those two notes are the same. If that were out of tune, it would sound kind of like this. Not the same at all. So you would want to tune that up until they were making the same note. Now the G is going to be the only one that we tune on a different fret. Instead of chording it on the 5th fret, we'll chord on the 4th. Not anywhere near, so let's tune it up to that same note. Getting close. I think that's pretty good. Back to the 5th fret for the D string. I think we got pretty good there. Let's try the A. All right, we're off there. Pretty good there. Let's try the E. All right. We should be good. All right. Now, the one downside to this method is that if your E string, that first string that we tuned everything to, if it's out of tune, then you're out of tune. You may be in tune, like your guitar will be in tune with itself. Now, the benefit of that is that if you get it in tune with itself, so you get each string in tune with the previous string, then when you make your chords will sound right. But that may be a little bit flat, that may be a little bit sharp. They're not going to quite be in tune, so if you want to play with one of my videos or you want to play with a CD or someone else's videos, the tuning isn't quite going to be there if that first string wasn't in tune. But this method will allow you to practice and make chords, and the chords will sound right even if they're slightly out of tune. But this isn't a great method if you want to play with a band or a CD or something else where you're playing with other people. You want to choose one of the other 5 methods to get in tune, not just with your own instrument, but get in that standard 440 tune. Now, the 5th method, this is going to take somebody else with an instrument already in tune. I suggest using a piano, especially if they're playing a digital piano or a keyboard, because those are always going to be in tune. So what I'm going to do is have somebody in the other room play each note on the piano, and then kind of like we did with that last method, we're going to listen until our note sounds exactly like the note on the piano. All right, so again, we're going to start with the E. Now, in my experience, most pianists just kind of come at this naturally. They know to hit the note until I stop and I'll tell them the next note. But if they don't kind of do that on their own, if you would just have them hit the note and keep that note ringing as long as we can so we have something to tune to. Next one is B. G. Pretty good there. D. A. And E. we should be in tune. All right, and that was 5 different methods to get in tune in under 5 minutes. I hope you enjoyed this. If you're just here to tune to my guitar, we'll get into that. I'll hit each string 3 times. I'll remind you the note that we're tuning to, and then you can get in tune with my guitar. First one is E. String 2 is B. String 3 is G. String 4 is D. String 5 is A. String 6 is E. All right, thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoy this. Pick out your method, maybe even pick out a few different methods so you can tune in a lot of different environments. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.